Michigan's short track racing authority is Horsepower Happenings.
Charlie Bauer, welcome into Horsepower Happenings.
Scotty Thiel, welcome to Horsepower Happenings.
John Beach, welcome into Horsepower Happenings.
Adam Terry, welcome into Horsepower Happenings.
Paul Pelletier.
Corbin Hazlett, Riley Knoll.
Matt Kemp, Dylan Stovall, welcome into Horsepower Happenings.
From pavement to dirt, modifieds to sprint cars, hear from drivers, promoters, track owners, and many other industry leaders.
We worked on that car for 12 days straight, and when I got to the Speedway Saturday, I was out of gas. I had to take a nap.
You're out there and, you know, that groove, if you're outside of it, you could be a couple tenths off or even half a second off.
It is not the shock that you've won all these races. You know what I mean? There's so many pieces to the puzzle to make these cars go fast.
I don't care what he says. I saw a thing on Facebook on somebody's post that's now been deleted that one of his crew guys said that the spotter told him car low and I wrecked him.
With over 50 years of experience from racing to management, here are Zach Heiser and Rich France.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome into another episode of Horsepower Happenings, a jam-packed show lined up for you tonight with three first-time guests on the program. How exciting. Let's get into this with checking out what's happening in a Mark News Minute. NASCAR was off this week, but if you are a NASCAR fan, keep an eye on what's happening over on the Mark News page and the Mark News network of podcasts. A huge announcement will be coming up this week. Excited for a new project coming to Mark News. More on that coming up again this week. Hey, Justin Grant, he won the night, but it was Kyle Cummins who won the week after it was all said and done during Saturday night's 39th annual USAC NOS Energy Drink Indiana Sprint Week. The finale was held at Tri-State Speedway. Again, Kyle Cummins, the winner of Indiana Sprint Week. It was Justin Grant who got the win at the racetrack. From 10th, how about this performance? Bobby Pierce drove to the front of the field prior to the halfway mark at Cedar Lake Speedway and picked up a $100,000 prize in the USA Nationals. Also got the commemorative swim in the pond. Man, that fire suit has to get heavy after a dip in the drink. And finally, Chaz Dietz wins at Baps. Buddy Kofoid won night one at Williams Grove, and David Gravel won the finale from the Grove in the World of Outlaws visit to Pennsylvania. So put it in the win column for the World of Outlaws. Those things and so much more happening tonight on Horsepower Happenings. Good evening. Welcome in. I'm Zach Heiser. Rich France joins me from across the way. What's going on, sir?
I didn't think I was going to have a very busy weekend, but it worked out that way.
Yeah.
You know,
turned out to be, huh?
Yeah, I was at half the tracks that raced. How about that?
Yeah, no kidding. So a tough weekend for really any Saturday track in our region was dark. And I felt really bad for Tim Wilbur and, you know, Angola, probably M40. We didn't get a drop of rain here in Quincy until about 11 o'clock at night, something like that. So it was a tough day for the southern part of the state.
Yeah, and Friday we got nothing at Birch Run, and I think it did finally rain there overnight, Friday into Saturday, and then Saturday we had some sprinkles at Flat Rock for about an hour, but never enough to lose the track. They just kept running through practice, and then it never rained again, and the sun came out during the features.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, so we weren't expecting that, and we got through the whole night by 9 o'clock. We was flying.
Good deal. For those of you watching on YouTube and watching live on Facebook tonight, you'll notice Rich and I have our Detroit Lions gear on. That'll be further explained during Credentialed with Koty Geyer, but our excuse for right now is that it's the first day of padded up practice happened today across the league. So that's exciting. Of course, not trying to say farewell to racing season or summer at all. But I'm ready for some Lions football. So that'll be coming here.
Yeah, let's not get anybody hurt, right? Today.
Yeah, no, I know. Okay, Rich, very sad news came across our desk yesterday afternoon. Great family that we've come to know and love in our time here in motorsports, and was very sad to see this. I'm just going to read this directly. This is a post that was put on Facebook yesterday from John Berglund, talking about the loss of his son Marcus. After a long battle with Fanconi, anemia, and cancer, Marcus John Berglund left the world Saturday, August 1st at the age of 28. Marcus was a gentle soul with an endless love for his family, friends, motorsports, and photography. He had a sharp wit and was a very determined individual who survived cancer several times. Marcus was always willing to help anyone and provided photographic services to promote motorsports and race teams. His spirit will live on, and he will be remembered as a genuine, caring person. He's survived by his mom and dad, Francine and John, his grandmother, Rosemary. A celebration of Marcus's life will be held at a later date. Memorials can be directed to Fanconi Cancer Foundation, 360 East 10th Avenue, Eugene, Oregon, 97401. And Rich, anytime that somebody in our industry passes away, it's sad, but this one really broke my heart yesterday to see this come across.
And how many times, and I don't know how many of our listeners have seen Marcus at a racetrack, right? Had to have seen him. Always with a smile on his face, down there loving being around the race cars, loving what he was doing. Very surprising and very sad to hear that on
very
Saturday.
sad. And you know somebody's battling something, but you don't ever really know the severity sometimes. And I think this was the case. I just talked to John Berglund a couple of weeks ago, and asked him about covering an event, and he said no, he was going to be at some treatments with Marcus, and that was it. You just said, okay, yeah, he's got some appointments. So didn't realize how bad it had got. And John, the whole Berglund family, we're thinking of you, we're praying for you, and just so sad to hear this, but glad to know that things are the pain is over, right? That's always kind of the thing. And man, just thinking of the Berglund family. So, all right, let's get into some racing. That's what everybody here is here to do. Let's talk about some things going on from over the weekend. Rich, one of the things that was able to take place this weekend, NASCAR Youth Nationals at Little Kalamazoo Speedway. And I tried, Rich, today, went to 3 or 4 different sources and couldn't exactly find a full rundown on results to talk about. And one thing I did find, though, is that Carson Hocevar made an appearance. He's always talked about how that track is what shaped him and what kind of got his career going. Nearly 300 cars there on the property over the weekend, and Carson waving some flags, twirling the sticks over the weekend. Did you see that?
Yeah, I mean, and this is great, right? I mean, what do we always say? Like, it's the future of our sport, right? That's you never know who's going to come out of those ranks, i.e. Carson Hocevar, right?
Yeah.
So and a lot of guys come out of that Little Kalamazoo Speedway.
Chase Berta, Katie Hettinger. I mean, those are just a couple of quick ones that come to mind.
Yeah, and you don't know where you're going to see them. I mean, when they get a little bigger, then you're going to see them at a racetrack near you. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. And so congratulations to everybody over there. So I've already seen some viral clips making around on TikTok and Instagram and things like that. So some good coverage coming out of there. Congratulations to friend of the program, Matt Kemp. He brought his Maples Motorsports number 91 home in 4th over the weekend, Rich. I know you're going to talk more about the event at Flat Rock Speedway on Saturday night, but how cool is this? Matt Kemp comes rolling in there in a 1-ton dually pickup truck, open trailer, and the Maples Motorsports number 91, and wheels that thing all the way to 4th. How cool is that?
Yeah, and he was fast all day, even in practice. And those big teams, JGR and Pinnacle, all were looking like, what? I mean, they have $1 million rigs, and this guy rolls off and is in the top 5 all day long. Did a great job. I mean, Max Reeve, to be honest, was setting a blistering pace. Matt did go down a lap down a couple times, but the caution came out right thereafter, and he was the lucky dog. So that saved him twice, got the lucky dog twice, and finished on the lead lap. So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, good job. And let's talk about it while we're there, Rich. Historic night at Flat Rock, I think, right? A new number went down in the history book for the Outlaw Super Late Models.
Oh yeah, it did. Connor Zabosian took it personal. After 3 engines and a crash this year, they brought that number 45 Moran Motorsports machine out, and sweeping the night was going to be the requirement, and that's just what he did. In qualifying, 2/10 over the Outlaw Super Late Model track record at a 10.798.
Wow.
10.798 around the Flat Rock Speedway in an Outlaw Super Late Model. We couldn't believe. We were wondering if the numbers were correct. The old track record was 10.97 by Hayden Sprague. He set that last year in 2025 at the Stanley Memorial 150. So that lasted a little over a year and 2 weeks. And then
now that that asphalt is cured, I would like to see a Call of the Wild type event at Flat Rock. I just want to know what we could actually accomplish.
We were talking about that. Yeah. So Randy Sweet, who has the absolute track record there at 10.2 something, right? Woo. that's flying. But
Yeah.
I think
What was
I
that?
think
Was that in his sprint car? What was that?
no, that was in his outlaw late model with 10-foot sideboards.
With the boards? Okay.
Yeah, with the boards on it, like that, like that, just like the Call of the Wild at Kalamazoo.
Yeah.
And that's how he did it. That they used to take that car to racetracks all over and put on shows with it, and see how fast he could go. But no, we're not allowed to put any treatment on the surface.
Right.
Last year or this year, they wanted 2 years of it to cure in and get running by itself. Maybe next year, dope it up a little bit and open up the sideboards and have a night and see if somebody can do it.
I don't even care if you dope it up a little bit. Like, let's just do it, the way God intended it. Let's get all the downforce we can on these race cars, brand new sticker tires, and just go out there and see what they can do. I mean, sure, yeah, you probably can dope the tires up a little bit, but I don't think the track needs anything. Let's just go see what we can do on that thing.
Yeah, all they got to find is another half a second.
Were you surprised that record fell again this year? Did you think that you'd have any track records this year?
I thought it might fall, but I thought somebody might be in the low 90s, mid 90s, where it wasn't going to be a lot. He laid that lap down, and I looked at Gary Lindahl, and we were both like, "What?" We were rubbing our eyes, making sure. Did race monitor, was it wrong? And we were watching and no, we double checked with everybody involved before we made the announcement that he just destroyed the track record. What was the number again? Cool deal.
10 what?
10.798.
Wow. 10.7. Okay. I had it in my head that you said 10.8. No, 10.7. No. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Jeepers,
Connor Sabosian's a pretty happy guy, then he proceeded to stink up the feature as well. So he came, he saw, he conquered, he loaded up and went home.
Good for Connor Sabosian. May get some bonus points from you this week, Rich, I imagine, in the Mark News Power Rankings as we
Connor's got mine.
Put those out every week. Here's the thing. We've been stirring up the pot a little bit on social media with those power rankings. Folks, it's pretty simple. Click on the blue link on marknews.org. If you're at marknews.org and you click on the power rankings link, you'll understand how we got where we got with the power rankings, or as Chad Finley calls them, the participation rankings, which I don't know how you're going to be ranked in any sort of power rankings without racing. That's kind of the idea. So the more you race, the more points you're probably going to accumulate in the power ranking status. Anyhow, love the commentary. I say that to say this. I love the commentary because Rich, people are passionate about our opinions. They are just losing it on social media.
I know, and it's great. But what we said when we started this a few years ago, Zach, but it's all in fun. It means nothing. Right?
Maybe. There might be something to it.
Okay, they might get a hat. They might get a hat and a koozie at the end of the year. All right.
Keep an eye on some potential announcements coming out, and I will say this. Keep Saturday, November 14th, I think is the date. Keep that open on your schedule.
It's wide open. I'm done by then.
University of Michigan football is in Oregon, I think Koty Geyer said. Lions, I think, are on in Germany that weekend, so there's no reason to be gearing up for a home football game. Saturday, I think it's the 14th. Maybe, I don't know if producer Noah can fact check me real quick. I think it's Saturday, November 14th is what we've told everybody to clear their calendars for. Power rankings might come into this, and we'll have more details coming out very soon. And get your hotel room in Clio. There. I've teased it. I've given you way too much information.
Oh boy.
I've teased it hard enough. Okay. With that in mind, let's move on. Take a look at the weekend winners because we have a big show coming up and we got to get moving, Rich. This is your segment of the show. Yawn of the week. I think Koty Geyer has the yawn of the week. I'm not even going to put it up for nomination. Rain/Mother Nature is the yawn of the week winner this week on Horsepower Happenings. We're tired of seeing her go to victory lane, so she is the yawn of the week winner. But she had some competition on Friday night, Rich. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, there was a few people that could be in the running for yawn of the week. We're going to start at Birch Run Speedway, where I was on Friday night for the Turn 1 CRA Pro Series, and it was Billy Van Meter. Man, we thought
is that his name? Is that his name?
Meter.
Just Billy Van Meter?
That's all I'm calling him. If you ask Billy what his name is, you know what? Go on Track TV, watch it, and see what Billy calls his name.
There's a clip on Mark News as well, if you want to go find it that way.
Great. Did you have to beep it out?
No, I left it. I just
You left it
apologized
in.
for it in the text.
Yeah.
Mainly because I wanted people to see how you reacted to it.
Yeah.
Billy Van Meter gets the win.
Yeah. So Billy Van Meter picked up the win. Great battle with Blake Rowe inside. We had a competition caution, 13 laps to go. We knew that was going to set up something. That was Blake Rowe was going to restart
First lead change of the night. First lead change of the night. Yeah.
And Blake Rowe sailed it in there on the outside and took the lead. And we thought, well, he's gone.
Yeah.
Nah, not quite yet. Then he started overdriving the corners and opening the bottom for Billy, and Billy drove it underneath him and got the win. Got by with about 3 or 4 laps to go. So good job by Billy Van Meter. In the modifieds, David McManus.
What a race, though. I'm gonna tell you what. My brother-in-law
wanted that bad, didn't he?
I was pulling. I love David. David knows I love him. But I was pulling for that number 12 car. Let me tell you, because and I just
that would have been his first A main feature win, right?
I know it would have. And I just knew though. I kept watching the board and I was watching David, and my brother-in-law Doug went with me to that race, and I said, Doug, 5 to go. David's taking the lead, and sure enough, he got under him going into 3. Had the lead coming out of 4 with 5 fingers in the air. So
yeah, put on a great race. I mean, put on a great race. Luke did a great job as well. And Nick Lakota
he's a Yawn of the Week nominee, isn't he?
After that street stock win, because he won by what, half a track over second place.
And he's very good at Birch running a street stock.
He is. I got to give him credit, right? But yeah, so 3 dominating performances in one night at Birch Run. That was awesome. Kalamazoo Speedway late models, a new name on top. Chet Monowek picked up the win in the template late model division. Outlaw limited late models, Jacob Maynard would take the win. Street stocks, Jeffrey Town. This is not his first win this year.
By the way, Jacob Maynard back to back. We've tried to get him on the show the last 2 weeks, but just haven't been able to connect. So Jacob Maynard rolling right now.
Yep. And then Dan Rigoni picked up the win in the front wheel drives. And then Flat Rock Speedway, like we talked about, Arca Menards East Series, Max Reeves, and what a battle with Tristan McKee in the last 5 laps. You talk about 2 guys moving each other and not wrecking each other. That's what they did the last 5 laps at Flat Rock. And they were waiting. The officials were up there. I was sitting right next to the ARCA officials, and they were waiting. If one of them was going to wreck each other, they were going to the back or getting black flagged, and it never happened.
Wow.
So what a battle between them. Then Connor Zabosian, obviously what we talked about, picked up the Outlaw Super Late Model win. And then Jeremy Vanderhoof picked up the Figure 8 win. And
I heard that you got to introduce our friend Jonathan Ramos to some Figure 8 racing Friday or Saturday night.
Oh, yes. So next time anybody sees Jonathan Ramos, there was some action at the intersection, and Gary Lindahl does Gary Lindahl when that happens. This time it just happened. This time all 4 cars got to the intersection at the same time.
Oh, look out.
Oh, it was a big one. Jonathan jumped, grabbed his head, ran like he goes, I had never seen a Figure 8 race in my life. I said, well, you came to the right place for your first one.
Wow.
Because this is not factory stocks running in a Figure 8 or trucks running in a Figure 8
or demolition derby cars
demolition derby. These are race cars running in a Figure 8. And Jonathan was a little scared. He thought there was going to be a giant pile up at the intersection, which all 4 of those guys knew there wasn't, that were in the cars. And he went to interview Jeremy Vanderhoof, and the only thing he could think of to ask him was, what does your family think of this? Well, he's got
really.
He's like a 3-4 time Figure 8 champion. They love it, right?
Right.
But no, it flipped Jonathan out. It did. He had never seen that before.
Wow, cool, good stuff. Glad to see the races that we're able to get in this weekend. Bummed out, if the forecast was wrong this week. Could we quit bashing racetracks for trying to do the right thing? Just shut up a little bit, okay? Like, nobody wants to cancel. And nobody wants to get to the racetrack and rain out. So could you just trust your track officials and your track management when they make this decision and quit belittling them in the comment section? Just shush. That's all.
Zach, you know what? And I want to add to that, because I see it a lot. When they try to get it in and it rains out, they say, well, you made us come to the racetrack and we had to drive here and it cost us money. And so they're trying to do the right thing. You can't have it both ways.
Right.
You can't say, oh, you rained out and it didn't rain. Is it a chance? The weatherman's the only job in this country you can be wrong 50% of the time and keep your job.
And I don't know about the rest of the state, but he was pretty darn wrong down here with me.
Yeah.
So.
But no, you can't have it both ways, and you kind of have to go with the forecast. And the forecast really did not look good. We weren't happy with the forecast at Flat Rock, but we took a gamble.
Yeah.
Right. It was a gamble, and it was sprinkling in the afternoon through practice, and it was like, oh, here. And we looked down in Toledo. Gary told me when he left his house in Toledo, it was pouring.
Yeah.
And it was coming from the south, and it never hit us.
That's right.
It just went out over Lake Erie. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so just calm down. All the promoters and owners are trying to do the best they can.
Zip it. Just zip it.
Yep.
Stop it. All right. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're all going to be introduced to somebody together. He picked up the win in the second modified feature of the night at Corrigan Oil Speedway on Friday night. We're talking to him coming up next. Stay tuned. This is the Horsepower Happenings podcast.
Saturday, August 8th, it's the North-South Shootout, a late model sportsman special event at Owasso Speedway. The Alderman's Late Model Sportsman's battle challengers from all over in a special format showdown with Meyer Electric Pure Stocks and Michigan paving trucks also on the card. Fans can catch qualifying events and take part in the special feature position starting draw with owner Rex Wheeler. Front gate opens at 4 p.m. Racing starts at 6 p.m. This Saturday, August 8th, 2026 at Owasso Speedway.
The Horsepower Happenings podcast is Michigan's short track racing authority. For nearly a decade, Horsepower Happenings has given race fans a chance to hear directly from their favorite drivers, local track owners, and promoters. Horsepower Happenings is the only podcast keeping fans engaged with Michigan area racing for 52 weeks a year. Don't miss the Horsepower Happenings podcast live on Facebook every Monday night at 6:30 and available everywhere you enjoy podcasts. Visit horsepowerhappenings.com and follow on Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube.
Think your camper handled the winter just fine? Think again. Every time the temperature fluctuates, drop moisture freezes and expands, turning tiny hairline cracks into major pathways for water. That freeze-thaw cycle is a silent killer for RV seals. If you haven't had a professional roof and exterior sealant inspection this spring, you're likely towing a leak you can't see yet. Midwest Camper Repair specializes in catching that winter damage before it reaches your interior. We're mobile and we check it all from the roof to the floor. Don't let a winter crack ruin your summer fun. Call Midwest Camper Repair today and start the season sealed tight. Call 419-799-1171. That's 419-799-1171. Or visit MidwestCamperRepair.com. Serving the tri-state area from the roof to the floor, Midwest Camper Repair has you covered.
Welcome back to the Horsepower Happenings podcast. Producer Noah trying to keep it together tonight, giggling through the entire 10-second outro of that last commercial. Glad for him, having a good time. It's our pleasure now to welcome in a first-time guest here onto the program. He was a modified feature winner, is a modified feature winner from Friday night at Corrigan Oil Speedway. I'm going to take a dry run at this and see how it goes. Kyle Heintzelman.
That's the best I've ever heard it.
Damn, but was it right?
Yeah. Yep.
Really? All right. Hey, take that, Rich France.
That's the only one Zach's got right in 2 years.
Kyle, man, welcome onto the program. Doing a little background, just a little digging. Looks like you're kind of an Angola homer, an Angola Motorsport Speedway complex, whatever that is down there, whatever they actually call that place. I just go by Angola. And you make the decision to come up to Corrigan on Friday. What led to that? What brought you up to Mason?
I actually the Gatton boys, Jordan and Jonathan. I work at McMahon's on the car side, so I kind of go to work with them. And they had talked about Corrigan, talked about how much fun it was up there, and how tight of a track it was. They just told me all about it, kind of told me some of the secrets about it, and told me I should go try it.
Well, it worked out for you, and I can't remember exactly what I was doing on Friday night. Odds are I was having margaritas at the local Mexican joint, because that's kind of been my thing lately. And all of a sudden, my Facebook explodes, like, what a race! This was so cool. I don't know who this kid was, but what a race. Talk about that second feature. Car count was down this Friday, but was not for lack of entertainment value. Give us kind of your perspective from the driver's seat.
So they run twin features up there. I think that's new this year. The first feature I started pole, same as the second feature, and fell back instantly to last and within like 6 or 7 laps. And I just kind of gained knowledge. That was my first time at that track, first full day there. gain knowledge off that first one. Second race, I got to start back up front. From there, I knew if I could just hold on to it for the first 5 or 10 laps, like I'd have something for him. And it came around to like lap 5, and I was still racing for the lead. And I was like, I just got to hold on to it now. And so my thoughts were just get as close as you can to that berm without hitting it. And as long as I hit my marks every single corner and don't slip up, I should be able to at least take home a top 2 or so. And it was just every lap I would go into the corner. I wouldn't see nothing. I'd be like, okay, I can move up. And then the next corner, I would just see him roll up right on the outside of me. And every single time I'd see that left front tire, I'd be like, dang it, he's still there. I can't move up yet.
Now you're talking about the rumble strip on the bottom of 1 and 2. That's what you're trying to get down and protect the bottom. You're racing against, I think it was Connor. Was it Connor or Aaron? Who Connor ends up second. So we just talked to him last week. Man, he's been good this year. Do you follow the other competitors? Do you know kind of what you're stacked up against?
Yeah, I mean, for being such a small field, it was definitely a very good quality car field. A lot of those cars and a lot of those drivers have many years of experience. But just that, damn, there's that short, wow.
That like that short run is that, or like, I mean, you got 20, 25 laps. Connor's tough, and we know there's an outside to Corrigan. That's the part that I think is interesting is you can kind of roll the outside. Did you know that going in that maybe somebody would be able to hang out there?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of seen the first race, just watching, seeing that you can run the high and low. But I think my biggest issue was the first race was I was just staying way too low on the track, and I wasn't letting myself use the track and get into the corners. That track is very momentum based, and if you mess up one corner, you kind of mess up the other one. So you got to be really on your points every corner, and it just takes one mess up to ruin the whole lap. And I think that was the biggest thing I really learned from the first feature was just to be as consistent and smooth as you possibly can be.
Kyle, I when I raced, I was able to run at Corrigan Oil a few times, and I was never a fan of the rumble strips, right? I didn't want to get down there on them. It just seemed to kind of upset the race car. Mine was always turns 3 and 4, because if you can't roll through there and make it not tight coming off, you're not going to have a very good night. How are you able to do that?
Honestly, I feel like using those rumble strips to my advantage. I was kind of using them to try to help the car get upset a little bit and free the rear end a little bit for me to help me get through those corners. It seemed that when I was on them, it kind of unsettled the car, and it would help me get through them corners a little bit better.
And what'd you think about turns 3 and 4? That's a tight 3 and 4. I mean, it's a hairpin, and the wall comes up real quick. You got to be able to get that car freed up off of turn 4 for sure.
Yeah, it honestly feels like you're coming to a standstill in that corner. It feels like you're stopping, but you're watching the race and they're not at all. But it's just it's crazy how tight that corner is compared to 1 and 2. It's like a completely different track down there.
Yeah, it's like an egg shaped, right? Literally.
Yeah. And with the backstretch being so wide, I mean, it's almost, 5-car wide. I mean, you can really choose wherever you want to go. And that's the whole thing with, if you mess up that corner coming out of 2, then you messed your backstretch up and everything. So it just throws the whole lap off.
Let's talk about your season in Angola. You're second in the points right now, some 30 points back, I think, out of the points lead in the modified division. At least that was, as of 725. Yep. I don't see an update after this weekend. Did they race on Saturday?
No, it actually got canceled with all the rain that was coming through.
Yeah, okay, that's what I figured. So you talk about the Gattons, right? They jump in there quite a bit in Angola. Talk about your season, kind of give us an overview here as we kind of push through this final month. Do you think you can make a run toward that championship? Again, just a few points back. 30 points is I think manageable depending on the format. So how are things going?
They've been pretty good. We started off the year pretty strong. I think the second race in, we had a second place finish, raced side by side with Chad Richardson for, I think it was 30 laps, door to door the whole time. And from there, we had a bunch of top fives. Just recently, we started to struggle a little bit. had like a two top tens after that. So just trying to get back to our pace from where we were at. Just every week, you don't change anything on the car, and then the next week you unload and it's a complete different race car. So it's just trying to find things and learn and just tune on it. It's been a whole new thing for us. The whole race team, everything. We came from front wheel drives. So rear end car and a modified, that's a complete change up. So it took a lot to understand what the car needed. And I think we're starting to get a hang of that.
Yeah, don't get ahead of me. I want to talk about that transition from front-wheel drives to modifieds.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about that, but let's talk about this points battle now. Are you paying attention to this? This is always an intriguing question for me on this show. You know, a lot of guys, whether they're lying or not, I don't know. You just win the races, the points will come. 30 back from Tony Van Allen, but you're like 4 points ahead of Tommy Cook, and then, it's a little more comfortable back to Jordan and Tim Miller, who round out the top five. Jordan Gatton and Tim Miller, I should say, who round out the top five in points. Are you paying attention to this thing down the stretch?
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. I mean, I have yet to win a track champion, so it would definitely be nice to add that to the list. But I mean, it's always at the end of the day, just trying to put together a night and trying to win a race. That's really the end goal, the main goal. A track championship, that would always be nice to come with it, but I mean, the main goal is trying to win big races and win races.
Do you think you have anything for Tony, and what do you think it's going to take here? I keep saying down the stretch. I don't have the Angola schedule right in front of me to know how many more. I mean, it looks like really we've got August, and then it's championship night on September 5th, Labor Day weekend. So you just lost Saturday, so now you're down to 1, 2, 3, 4 more shows to try to seal this thing up. Do you think you have what it takes to get to Tony? What do you think it's going to take to get the job done?
Yeah, just kind of like I was saying, we just got to really put a night together. We've managed to qualify good one night, and then we'll fall off in the feature, won't have a good feature. The next night we'll do amazing in the feature, but had a bad qualifying and didn't do good in the heat races. We just need to, the last 4 weeks, just put something together for everything, for the heats and the qualifying feature. Just put a whole night together. I think once we can start doing that, I think it'll be very close. It's hard saying Tony Van Allen, he's always a top competitor, usually always top 5. So we would just need something to happen, but anything's possible for sure. I definitely think we have the car and have the team to be able to do something.
You got to have a pretty good comfort level, because I know if I was pulling in there and I saw Van Allen and I saw Connor Landis and then the Gatton boys and Cook and on down, I wouldn't feel comfortable of running in the top 5 every single night with that group.
No, yeah. I mean, that's the thing too. We've been very fortunate this year. I mean, even a top 5 there with the competition we've had. Seems like this year and years past, it's been a very strong class there. Most nights there, we're averaging 22 to 24 cars. So it's a pretty stout field every night. And it really just depends on where you qualify, where you start the race, and just where you're at. I feel like you can't look at the names once you get into the driver's seat. You just got to worry about hitting your marks on the track, and you can't let the names get to you.
And I want to get in there. I'm going to leave Zach his question, because I do want to hear what he has to say. But is this your first year in a modified?
This is my second full year in it. I made the transition last year. Then this is my second season in it. So cue
Zach.
Yeah, well, and actually, I'm going to say cue the advertisement, because we've got them. Cliffhanger. I want to say thank you to our marketing partner for this interview. That, of course, is the Muffler Man in Coldwater. I use the Muffler Man in Coldwater. I've bought 2 sets of tires from them, one for my Terrain, one for my 3/4 ton pickup truck. Issues 0. That came with a free alignment, by the way, and that's not just a Zach Heiser special. That's the deal. If you make an investment for your vehicle and get a set of 4 tires, you're going to get an alignment as part of that. And then they take care of other things too. Rich, I had a tire that was leaking for some reason. Didn't know what the deal was. They got that taken care of. Got a valve stem replaced in that. And they're more than just mufflers too. They're full service. They can take care of pretty much anything, and they're racer owned and operated. So see Mark and his team at the Muffler Man in Coldwater. Check them out and tell them that Horsepower Happenings sent you there. Okay, Cue the put it on the tee, and we'll swing for the fences here. Jumping from front wheel drives, I think obviously that's always been kind of a starter class, and some guys make a career out of it, which is fine. But a lot of guys get there to get their feet wet in racing and then see where it takes them. Modifieds to me is not a natural progression, but I don't know that that's fair. So how do you get to modifieds? Maybe it is being at Angola all the time. Is that being kind of a regular division?
Yeah, I just kind of seen where car counts were going and everything, and with how big the modified class was, I was just really seeking something that was competitive. I wanted cars that were tight and close in times. When we go up there, we usually have 15 guys that are within a tenth or two of each other, so it's tight racing throughout the whole field. Doesn't matter where you're at. The front wheel drives, that's where I felt like it kind of lacked. We just never had huge car counts. And it just seems like in the front wheel drives, there's more of a bigger split between cars on where their speed is at. I feel like the front wheel drives have definitely came a long way. They're not just a beginner class like a lot of people say.
Yeah, sure.
These cars are full blown race cars now. They're tube chassis on some of them, and even not. I mean, they're full racing suspension and bumps, everything. So it's a huge jump, but when you put it into perspective, it's not just like we're taking these front wheel drives and just taking the interior out and putting a cage in them. Like they're full blown race cars now. So I feel like it's a little bit more manageable, but still the jump from rear wheel drive to front wheel drive it's insane. That first time out there, I think I spun out twice, checked out the infield once or twice, almost smacked the wall. It was pretty crazy going from front wheel drive to rear wheel drive for sure. Definitely a learning curve.
Dude, I'm reminiscing about, you say, oh, we're not just taking the interior out and putting a roll cage in it. Listen, my 1984 Chevy Celebrity, that's what we did, okay? Rip the interior out, put in a 4-post cage, and we went and tore them up at Montville. Yeah. So, but what all did you do with those compact cars? I was looking through your page. You had the gooseneck trailer, 3 cars loaded up on there. Who all was racing front wheel drives with you? Where did you go? I assumed with that kind of setup, you probably traveled around a little bit. Did you hit any Vors races? What all did you do with the compact?
Yeah, so I started racing when I was 13. This is, I think, my 7th or 8th year doing this now. It started off, my dad was just doing it, and then he got my brothers into it, my older brothers. They all started racing back at Bearfield. Sadly, in my first year, that's when they had closed down. So then we started traveling up to Angola since then. But we had my brother, Bradley Kolkman, and then my other brother, Chris Heintzelman, and then my dad, Chip Heintzelman. All 4 of us would race compacts, and that was just our thing. And then
you guys didn't go down to Bristol or anything, did you? Like, did you guys do anything?
No, my dad did take his car to Winchester. He had someone run it at Winchester, and my dad has ran a couple Vors races. And then I want to say 3 or 4 seasons ago, I started building my car up slowly, getting faster and faster. And finally my car, it broke one night and I was super bummed. And the next weekend, my dad let me practice his car. He's like, wait a minute, you're kind of fast. So he let me run it. He let me run it for the rest of the night. And I won that night. And pretty much from there, it was my car for the rest of the year. Won, I think, 4 to 5 features that year in it. And then I think it was that next year I made the jump to the modifieds after that. But I went up to the big Owasso show and the compacts at the end of the year. And I think I finished top 10 in that race with the compacts. I never raced the Vors in the compacts. We were just strictly Angola regulars ever since Bearfield was closed. So
nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing wrong with it. Rich?
Yeah. So you got a win under your belt. They got a little race going on in Kalamazoo this weekend. Just wanted to give you a heads up on that. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd seen that. But then again, with me being so close in points, it was just like a toss-up. Do I want to risk losing out on all these points and maybe having a chance of getting a belt, or is it more just going try to race into the A main with a big class of very good names, very good cars. So it's just kind of toss up for me. I think I'm just gonna go back to Angola, see what I have for them, and see if I can pick me up another feature win.
Yeah, a lot of big boys are going to be at Kalamazoo on Saturday,
Yeah.
Friday and Saturday.
Hoping a few of the Angolas maybe travel down and maybe a little bit lighter of a mod race.
What is the Al Cook Jr. Memorial taking place in Angola this weekend? Is that a late model sportsman deal or is that modified?
Yeah,
What is that?
yeah, it's a really big late model race. 88 laps, and they do some sponsor laps and everything for the drivers, get them some money on the laps and everything. But it's usually always a big race. It's usually a really good race, and always 16 more plus cars, and it's a good field of drivers too.
Cool. All right. I want to ask you about this modified that you've got, and then I got to let you go because we got a big show tonight. This has been great to talk with you. We got some Facebook comments to check in on too. What is this chassis that you're racing and where did you get it?
It's actually a Sherman Enterprise chassis.
Oh, cool.
It's, if I remember correctly, told correctly, it was the first chassis he built once he went back to asphalt in 2012. He originally built the car for Mel Klein, and I bought the car from Mel Klein just 2 years ago.
Nice. Cool, man. All right, let's check in on some Facebook comments, get your reactions to these, and then we'll get you out of here. Noah Williams was giving us a hard time earlier in the show. He said, bring on Kyle. We're ready for Kyle. Laura's been blowing up our chat here.
There you go. He's got to know Laura, right?
I got because Laura was getting the Kyle chant going with the, Kyle, and then wants to know what it's like being a young, handsome, winning race car driver.
Well, I guess it's all new to me being getting my first win, so still taking it easy, taking it one day at a time.
Nice. Brent in here saying, good job, buddy, giving you some love. And my dad actually, okay, so my dad is in the comment section. This is why I asked if you guys went.
What's Ed saying now?
I asked if you went to Bristol, because when we were coming back from Bristol or from Nashville, it was a Nashville show. That's what it was. It wasn't Bristol. It was a Nashville show. We got our absolute doors blown off by a dually truck with the gooseneck with 3 compact cars on it. And dude, if I'm lying, I'm crying. I was doing every bit of 90 mile an hour, and that truck took me for a ride. So I was kind of curious if that was you guys, but
yeah,
unfortunately,
I do know of. I'm pretty sure the Jennings used to run a gooseneck trailer, but that's the only ones that I know of.
Cool. And then producer Noah, actually, great question, Noah. We should have got down to this on our own, but great question. Let's go back to Friday night at Corrigan. Last question, then we got to go. When you realize that maybe you've got it, you get the lane on Connor, you're able to start widening things out, and you realize, man, I might be onto this, and you're on the cusp of your first win. What was your headspace like? What was your mindset like, and how'd you keep it together?
Don't mess up. Don't mess up. I had that race earlier in the year at Angola. I had actually finished second because there was like 2 laps to go. I went into one, slowly started to skid a little bit because I got in there a little hot. And from that race, it really just told me just be easy those last couple laps. Just if you're in the lead, just take it easy. They can't pass you if you don't mess up. So that really helped me learn something.
Solid, man. Well, we weren't there. A lot of folks watching and listening back anywhere that you enjoy podcasts, by the way, weren't able to be at Corrigan on Friday. Let's hear who made it possible for you to get to Victory Lane.
Yeah, I'd have to thank DJ Sound Sensations, Weekly Towing, Double B Ranch, McMahon Best One, and like I said, the Gatton boys, they've always been big help in making the transition a lot easier to the modifieds.
Great timing, by the way. Anthony just jumped in the chat. Number 57 for the W, Sound Sensation DJs for the win.
Yes, sir.
Cool, man. All right. Appreciate it, dude. Good job. Glad to meet you and get to know your name. We're going to keep an eye on this Angola schedule the rest of the way. 30 points, fans, separating Kyle from his first track championship. 4 points separating him from being third in the championship standings. So it's going to be a good one down the stretch. Kyle, good luck, man. Maybe we'll talk to you this winter as a track champion.
Thank you, sir. Hopefully I can make some noise.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Credentialed is coming up with Koty Geyer.
KG Media is your home for all things photography, race day social media, and more. Koty Geyer brings more than a decade of experience working with the top brands in short track racing. From individual photos to full race days, social media to PR, KG Media can make your race team, race track, or touring series stand out. For more information, go to marknews.org or visit KG Media on Facebook.
Saturday, August 8th, it's the North-South Shootout, a late model sportsman special event at Owasso Speedway. The Alderman's Late Model Sportsman's battle challengers from all over in a special format showdown with Meyer Electric Pure Stocks and Michigan paving trucks also on the card. Fans can catch qualifying events and take part in the special feature position starting draw with owner Rex Wheeler. Front gate opens at 4 p.m. Racing starts at 6 p.m. This Saturday, August 8th, 2026 at Owasso Speedway.
Make sure your brand stands out from the crowd with Madman signs and designs. Flashy, clean, color, or simplistic, Madman signs and designs can make sure your race car, business vehicle, merchandise, or even your iRacing rig looks exactly how you dreamed it would. Get designs that help your brand, team, or business stand out from the crowd with the Madman at Madman Signs and Designs. Call 517-647-9573 or find Madman Signs and Designs on Facebook.
This Saturday, August 8th, it's the North-South Shootout, a late model sportsman special event at Owasso Speedway. The Alderman's Late Model Sportsman's battle challengers from all over in a special format showdown with Meyer Electric Pure Stocks and Michigan paving trucks also on the card. Fans can catch qualifying events and take part in the special feature position starting draw with owner Rex Wheeler. Front gate opens at 4 p.m. Racing starts at 6 p.m. This Saturday, August 8th, 2026 at Owasso Speedway.
Welcome back to Horsepower Happenings and the third installment of Credentialed. This month, super excited to welcome on someone who's been around for a very long time, done just about everything, mostly seeing behind the video camera and from Road Trip Media. It's Michael McIntyre. Welcome to the show.
You see, you guys had to go and tip your hands that you guys were going to celebrate the fact that it was the opening day for Lions Camp, and I immediately had to go change because there was no way on earth I was letting you guys represent without my team representing. So I'm just going to say this once, and we'll move on. Go, Pack, go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Where are the FTP chants?
As I say, this is me getting even for all the smack you guys try to talk about, twice a year. So we'll leave it be. So we'll hopefully have a decent season this year.
Okay, last thing on football talk, because I know there are some people that get mad about us for talking football on this show. The NFC North is by far the most competitive league or division in the league. So there you go. Anyhow,
I wouldn't disagree with that statement. And unfortunately, as now an Indiana resident, we can agree on this. Supposedly, the Bears are moving to the northwest part of the state, and I've already started asking where can I file my tax exemption that I don't have to pay for that stadium.
All right, let's get into this auto racing side, man. I kind of I look to you as a guy that I kind of compare myself to because there is so much that you do and can do in this sport. I don't know that you've ever driven a race car. That might be the only hand up I have on you, but from starter to announcer to videographer, I assume photography's in there somewhere as well. Like, man, just kind of give me an overview of all the things you have done and why you've made yourself so versatile in the sport.
So here will be my question is, do you have a competitive start in a compact? Because
I do.
You've got me beat there because I've got, I think, 9 hot laps under my belt in a buddy of mine's car that no longer exists at Bearfield way back in the day. So
I have a heat race win at Bearfield, actually.
You've got a heat race win. I, unfortunately, do not have any competitive starts, so you've got me beat in that category.
Do my 6 A-main feature wins a Flat Rock count?
Oh, no, Rich, because then you're just showing off. That's not fair to show off to the rest of us.
So how did you get, like for me, it was just like, hey, can you do this? Yeah, I sure can. And I never tried to turn down an opportunity to do something at a racetrack. What's your story, man, on how you are so versatile anywhere you show up?
This is my favorite answer to this question because I've actually said it to numerous people, and I always get a funny look when they go, how'd you get started? And I always say, dumb luck in YouTube. Mm-hmm. I was a freshman in college when I'd moved to Northeast Indiana on scholarship at the time for academics, and I was a broadcast major or communications with a broadcast focus. And I had been, I'm going to get really behind baseball on this or inside baseball. When I was in high school, we were all taught how to use Final Cut Pro and mainly all the Apple products. Where I went to college at was predominantly Windows-based, and we had to then learn how to use the Adobe side of things because that was more PC compatible. So rather than waiting for the professor to get us to that point, because we all know I'm impatient, I decided to go take it upon my own initiative, and it was my first time ever at Bearfield, and I had my old JVC Handycam that I was basically teaching myself how to edit video on with that. So I was there one night, shot that. The following week at Indianapolis Raceway Park was a CRA Super Series show along with Sportsman, Street Stocks, and USA Modifieds. Fast forward, I cut the project, uploaded the highlights back when YouTube had the 10-minute limit because I'm that old now. The 20th anniversary of a certain YouTube channel is going to be coming up next September, so that shows you how long this has been.
Wow, good for you.
And then a guy that we all know in the industry by the name of Adam Mackey actually sent me a private message in YouTube back then and saw the clip and said, hey, if this is something that interests you, the guy that has mainly been shooting for me is not going to be able to do a good amount of the next season. Are you interested in coming on board? So here's me, 19-year-old, bright-eyed, wants to take on the world guy and make a world as far as motorsports broadcasting is concerned, with a golden opportunity to see what, in large cases, is still the predominant, most popular touring late model series in the Midwest. So fast forward 2008, I covered, I think, a dozen or so or 15 so shows in and around the region. And then by 2009, floodgates opened. I was doing multiple tracks, multiple series, anywhere that would give me a credential and let me in the doors was the golden opportunity to get in there. And then fast forward to 2016, I became one of the default people to handle a lot of the USAC stuff. And then I think the record in 2017 was I hit 97 shows in one season. Never crossed the century mark because Mother Nature decided I needed to sleep every now and then. So the record, I think, stands at 97 or something like that. And I said after that, we will never get close to that ever again. So 97 was that. So been really fortunate. I've been to a lot of cool places. I think it's been now like 120-something tracks, and I've worked at like 110 of them. So definitely have crossed way more off than I ever thought I would get to see.
Just who were some of your big influences and who helped you along the way whenever you first got started?
It's absolutely Adam Mackey as far as the guy that got me in the door and is still one of my best friends to this day as far as in the industry is concerned, and seeing what he's done with Bob Sargent and Track Enterprises and really coming to his own as far as the actual day-to-day facilitation of events has really been something that I've always looked up to. And as far as childhood idols go, I mean, everybody looks up to pro athletes and such. Mine was the great Dick Ebersol, who basically set the tone for how sports was to be covered at NBC. Looked at a lot of the ways that he embraced storytelling and focusing on the element and actually telling a story. And even on a budget that was 1/1000th of that with a solo camera shoot, doing stuff back in the old DVD days, you basically cut together and help tell a story of what a good race is. And everybody like made the joke at the time. They're like, what you're doing with a solo camera and a couple of onboards is telling a better story than what a lot of the network guys are doing, which that's another subject for another day. So really focusing on the storytelling element, really focusing on basically who is the story of the show, who's having a good show in that regard, and really build these guys up to heroes. They are your home track heroes, and they should be treated as such.
Michael, we had Rand Thompson on a couple weeks ago, and he said, I didn't know I wanted to get into racing. I just had them let me in the pits, and I just wanted to shoot some race cars. Is that, if you were going to give some advice to someone who wanted to get in this and get involved in this, is that exactly what you would tell them to do?
The biggest thing that you can do if you're trying to get into this is find your local track and just find something that you can get in the door and help with. It doesn't matter if it's taking tickets, running concessions. Find something that will get you in the gate and at least meet the people that will help get you to where you go. I kind of hit a niche to where back 20 years ago, yeah, it's been that long, there wasn't a whole lot of people in this area doing pavement-related video as far as the Northeast Indiana tracks. A lot of the guys doing video were mainly sticking to the dirt stuff. So I kind of looked at it personally in a perspective of there's a lot of untold stories that can be focused on as far as the pavement side of things, for the fact that Northeast Indiana has more pavement tracks in it than Iowa has dirt tracks, it feels like. So there was a golden opportunity to help storytell and just get in the foot there for being one of the only guys doing that kind of stuff. So I kind of had a little bit of a leg up in that regard, which wound up being beneficial. But if you're trying to get in the door now, the landscape's never been better with as many entities as there are as far as the streaming side of things and as far as the podcast side of things. And even the photogs are starting to get to the case where there's getting to be less and less that want to travel far distances. I mean, Cody's one of the few cases where he'll go to Golden Sands, Wisconsin, and then be Salem, Indiana the next day on no sleep. Because Cody's like me and believes that the best meal is a Waffle House and then a 44-ounce pop at the gas station to then get down the road. So there's golden opportunities to still get into this sport. It's just a matter of the fact that you've got to take the initiative and the time to try to find them.
Yeah, and you brought up live streaming and the landscape that now provides in racing. Just in your time, just how has things changed going from just recording races to now with the rise of like Flow, Racing America, and streaming?
It has been one of the most intriguing and fascinating timetables over the last decade that has largely seen the streaming side of things take off it from a very primitive infancy. Because if you were ordering a pay-per-view stream back 2014-ish, you were thrilled to get a single camera show, hopefully in high definition, and you were praying that the bandwidth of the facility you were going to would actually support the full night. Fast forward to what you get now from some of the entities, you're getting fully produced shows that look like they could air on a major network. Case in point, the production you get for the 10 or so shows for High Limit on FS1, same production crew and same level of tender love and care that you're getting for a regular night on Flow. So it's amazing that we've gone from just trying to get a show on air to now treating every night like it's a live television show and fully embracing the fact of treating it like television with feature interviews, segments, bios on the drivers, fun inside elements that look like you're watching minor league baseball, like they do the Durst dice roll and stuff like that. So it's really cool to see how the landscape has changed versus 20 years ago when it was just a case of, hey, will you let me in your racetrack and do a DVD of the night? That's ultimately what it's gone. We've come that far, and it's still amazing that I look at the disc copier that sits next to my desk and go, wow, it's amazing how we don't touch you anymore because everything has changed since then.
Yeah, for sure. I want to talk about how you started telling the story from some different spots and telling the story and, you know, being part of the show. Talk about the first time you picked up the microphone and how that became another element of your career.
Yeah, you're racking my brain on when the first race I announced was because...
Or what you remember of the early days, whatever you can come up with.
So the weird part of that was I have been around motorsports my entire life. Since 6 months old, my parents took me to my first ASA race at Anderson Speedway for what back then was the Anderson 400, now being renamed back to what it was originally being, the Redwood 400. I only know that because my mom still has the ticket stub in my baby book because my mother doesn't throw anything away.
Cool.
That being said, I look at that and I think, wow, we've come this far. But once I got to college as a broadcast major, I was sitting with the athletic director at the time for the university, and he asked me what I was in school for, and I told him, I said, well, I have goals of wanting to be a sports announcer. He turns to me and he has a perplexed look on his face as we're sitting in the top row of where the baseball stadium sat on campus. And he goes, take a walk with me. So we walk upstairs, go in the press box, and he taps the two junior varsity baseball players on the shoulders that were getting ready to call the game. And he goes, you're both fired. Move. Sits me down, hands me the scorebook, hands me the roster, and says, here you go. Let's see what you got. 10 minutes before first pitch, no prep, no time to do homework, no time to check in on stats or anything like that. And I'm praying to God I have a starting lineup to go, and then it's just, okay, learning as you go. This was several years before I'd ever announced a race. Now, first race I announced, there's kind of a cheater stat with that because back in those days, trying to patch into a track PA system to get the commentary call was sometimes tedious depending on the venue. It still is with certain PA setups. Cody can back me up on this.
Yep.
So in large cases where the tracks didn't have it to where you could patch in, I would shoot and announce to tape. So I would wear a $25 Radio Shack headset mic while also shooting it and kind of learning how to do it from there. So when I say you can learn as you go and teach yourself, I am very much one of the ones that can say I am the prime example of that.
Michael, I got to ask you, I don't want to ask you what is your least favorite type, but I want to ask it a different way. What is your favorite event of your career that you videographer, that you were behind the camera for, and what was the toughest event to work?
I'll be honest, one of the toughest ones to shoot just because of the way the sunsets fall. Anybody that grew up in the Thursday and Saturday Night Thunder era of USAC on ESPN or the one year they were on Speed, everybody has embraced and watched the days of when they would go to Terre Haute. For the fact that the main angle at Turn 1 and at Terre Haute has always been where the ABC Sports Tower used to stand in the Turn 1 angle, when you're shooting there, you are looking directly in blinding sunset the entire time during qualifying and heat races. When you get to the feature and it's a full field of 24, you're getting blasted by just the way that the soil content is down there, and you just get pelted the entire night. So one of the hardest places to shoot is Terre Haute. My favorite place to shoot, just because the racing there tells a fantastic story every time, and I love the speed ratio there. It's not top 5 racetrack, but it's close, but it's my favorite place to shoot. It's honestly Toledo.
Oh, there you go. There you go. How did you get into twirling the sticks?
So, as every other nerdy 6-year-old, I had begged my mom when I was a kid that I wanted flags made, because I thought being a flag man back then was the coolest thing in the world because you got to be part of the show. So I wrote in 2nd grade, when they ask you what you want to be grow up, I always wrote racing flag man, not knowing that's not a full-time job, kids. Don't kid yourself. So I'm 10 years old, and there's a fun story to this. I was 10 years old. My mother's name is Kathy. Kathy made my set of toy flags. Fast forward here a little bit ago where I decided I wanted to start picking flags back up and start doing some more flagging work. Another lady named Kathy, who is Brad Hockaday's mom at Professional Motorsport Solutions, sewed my new set of flags. So it's a fun full circle moment of here we are some 25 years later, and a lady named Kathy is still making my flags.
That's awesome.
So, but now I decided I had a change in professions. So it kind of had my schedule free up a little bit where I wanted to start doing something different on race day. And I say that
what led to that? Why did you feel like you wanted something different?
Honestly, and this is no detriment to being in the streaming side of things. Let me just preface that. I am incredibly thankful and grateful for the career that the streaming side of things has led me into. I forever owe my entire, for lack of a better term, legacy in this sport to that side. Now, that being said, it's like anybody else that has done a job for an extended period. Every now and then, you hit a case of where burnout just starts to step in. And I just decided I wanted to do something different. I'd spent my entire adult life wanting to showcase the sport to the masses via some form of broadcasting, DVDs, YouTube highlights, whatever. So instead of wanting to showcase the sport, I decided now in my late 30s that it was time to help better the sport as far as actual personnel helping put the show on. Because in a lot of cases, the sport, unfortunately, has an aging officials demographic, and there's got to start being some more people getting involved that want to put these shows on and help facilitate it for the next decade. Yeah. Or even further than that.
I have a personal question, and then Koty, I'll let you go because this is your segment. But I just, again, as I talked about in the open, I resonate with you a lot, Michael. And I've been challenged by that quite a bit as somebody who's in his early 30s and obviously has the general manager position with a pretty prominent regional sprint car tour. That, at some point, am I going to have to set the microphone down? Were you okay with that? Like, did you get to a point where you were okay putting the camera down to take on this more officials type role?
I keep dropping my microphone.
Yeah, mic drop.
Yeah, mic drop moment. It was not intentional. I'm just going to cheat and do this for now because my mic stand, for some reason, is now deciding it doesn't want to work. I will say this. For the day job change that I had, it had a moment where I knew a day-to-day change as far as profession was going to have to come no matter what. And it wasn't so much as the feeling of defeat of knowing it was time to be done. I had a long personal reflection on it. I'd had numerous discussions with my wife about it. God love her for putting up with what I do for a living. And hit a point to where I said, I'm going to need to find something new, and I know something's going to have to give. And it's going to have to be crossing the country nonstop with a video camera. So I had made peace with it, and I also had an opportunity. This is the summer of 2024, where my position where I worked at was eliminated, unfortunately. And the first instinct was, we'll pick the back up the camera to make this work. I had decided then that was going to be the last summer hurrah for chasing this stuff with a camera. I got to go several new places that year, including my first ever and so far only trip to Knoxville, Iowa, which was largely my last bucket list racetrack I wanted to see. That moment on, I had the thinking of, I've gone everywhere I could ever dream of, many of which I have gone repeatedly. I have nothing left to prove. It's time to take on a new challenge. So from then on, then it turned into, okay, now what do I want to do, and how can I make the sport better? Because I'm like the rest of you. I've breathed, and slept this sport since I was 6 months old, and it's all I've ever known. So it's time to help facilitate it and move it forward.
Then earlier you brought up your YouTube page, going on 20 years, and not to age you here for a second, but
thanks, Koty. Appreciate it.
But he
was 7 when your YouTube channel launched, by the way.
I was going to say, I'm only laughing that we're mentioning the YouTube page because right before I got on with you guys, I hit stop on the VCR for still capturing tapes too. So I'm looking over at the screen and I'm like, oh, that tape's done. Now I'd hit stop and go start the next one for a project that started then as just a way of digitizing Dad's library. And now it's turned into, hey, I've got this collection. Do you want it? And my wife goes, oh God, another set.
Yeah, I think I'm responsible for at least a couple of those tapes.
Appreciate it.
But just how are you able to build your YouTube page over the years and it turning from CRA highlights and highlights from other races that you showed up to with the camera to really a home for lost tapes of races throughout the country and in different series?
I had originally started it just as a way, like I said, my dad worked a weird schedule when I was a kid. He worked a very weird 4-on, 4-off schedule. So in a lot of cases, if he wanted to watch whatever show there was, either at the time, the Busch Grand National race on Saturday or the Cup race on Sunday, back then, pre-DVR days, pre-being able to watch them immediately on YouTube or some other streaming entity, it equaled having to turn some bright-eyed 7- and 6-year-old who had to figure out how to turn the cable channel to channel 33, which was ESPN, or channel 46, that was TNN, and how to hit record on the VCR. Now, because we're pack rats in our family, we never throw anything out. So I started having that moment of there's this large collection of stuff that's sitting in my dad's basement, and I go, well, might be a good idea to start trying to think of a way to preserve some of this stuff. And that's when the project kind of started and just progressed from there. Now, fast forward to a case of when Google did the change of started getting rid of screen names in your profiles and started outing actual identities. I was one of the ones that it immediately had hit it, so then people started connecting the dots of who the guy behind @RacerMac1988 was. And then as collections started going up for just, hey, this is in my relative's basement, do you want these? It's kind of just progressed on and on. Now, one of my favorite ones was the fact of, I'll date myself on this, and I think Koty got the back end of it. I grew up in what is known as the second heyday era of the original ASA, the Group 5 Sports era, which was TNN Motorsports every Sunday at 2 o'clock, wherever it would be, either it be I-70, Jennerstown, something like that. We went to Salem every year. We went to IRP every year and tried to catch other shows. My dad at one time stooged around with Dick Trickle, helping out, just cleaning windows, moving tires and stuff like that in the early ASA era. So the series was largely near and dear to our heart. I had about a dozen or so of the races archived, and I set out the mission of the series was too good to just let it evaporate and for its memory to fade. So that turned into, at the time, I had a couple posted. One of the comments was from a guy by the name of Joey Knott, who I believe still is the manager or service manager for Raby Ford in Lima, Ohio, who raced the series, won at Lancaster in 1996. Joe, if you're watching, love you, dude. Appreciate you. And he said, he goes, hey, I have a bunch of the races saved from my personal collection. Will you come get them and convert them? Sure, absolutely. Another person who was near and dear to the series, guy by the name of Ken Delabastide, still writes for the Anderson newspaper for the, I believe it's I think it's the Journal. Ken, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank as far as the paper's name. He, for the longest time, was one of the media directors for the series. He also had a collection of tapes. And then the other one that has been phenomenal as far as helping fill in gaps, God rest his soul, fortunately, Mike Eddy's son, Travis, also had Dad's collection saved that I'm still working through. So for me, it's not so much as just wanting to post them, it's the preservation of memories. And there are so many long-gone series like that that deserve to have their memories preserved and showcased for how good it was, and also as an example of what short track racing can still strive to try to be. Because back then, you had 20 ASA races a year on national television. You had the Hooters Pro Cup Series that was on Speed every Thursday night. You had the All-Pro Series from down south that had 6 to 10 live races a year, whether it be the old Sports Channel days, their ESPN shows and stuff like that. Those series are largely gone. Yes, ASA has been reincarnated. And I love for what I've gotten to do with them this year as far as flagging some of those shows. But the original versions of all of these deserve to have their memories preserved. And seeing where these guys came from. I mean, you look at the ASA list of guys that graduated out of that. You look at the Rusty Wallaces, the Mark Martins, the Matt Kenseths. All these guys came through that series. The biggest way we can grow short track racing is emphasizing the guys you see racing on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in trucks, O'Reilly, and Cup. They start in these places. They start at your local tracks. They start in regional tours. Help figure out how you can continue to build up the lore of these up-and-coming stars, so that way you've got great backstory for when they get to a national program on Saturday or Sunday. That's the big thing that should be the focus of that. Yes, you're preserving memories, but it's also knowing where these guys come from, because that's how you build the future.
One
Michael,
more time around, just real quick. Katie Robinson coming up next, and I knew this was going to happen. We all talk professionally, and so this was going to be a problem. One more time around the horn, Rich. We'll start with you.
Yeah, Michael. Obviously, you know, like you said, you made the decision. You didn't want to, do 80, 90 races a year on the road, and now you're being a starter. Is this going to take you to the end of what you want to do in racing, or do you still have some aspirations that you want to give a shot?
I still have aspirations, and I still have a couple of things that I would like to cross off the bucket list, but I tell people all the time, for what I've gotten to do, for the guy who was the son of a factory worker, who knew nobody really in the sport once he moved away for college, everything that I've gotten to do now is way more than I ever thought I would get to do. So if new opportunities come, fantastic. If this is the extent of what I do in the sport, I have no regrets. And it's been a blessing for the last 20 years.
Koty, go ahead.
Just what's the rest of your 2026 looking like as far as races go?
As far as if Mother Nature decides she finally wants to play nice, because like the rest of you, I sat at home on Saturday. Thank you very much, Mother Nature. This coming Saturday, the plans are I will be shooting the camera for our friends at Racing America up at Owasso for the Late Model Sportsman Special. Going nowhere on Sunday. The following Saturday, I will be at Salem, Indiana, which is one of my top 5 favorite racetracks just because I love the high Hoosier Hills for the 500 Sprint Car Tour. I then will fly to Colorado because it's our series finale for the Race for the Million Wing Sprint Car Series, in which I'm the starter for. The following Saturday, the 29th, is the rain date for the Summer Sizzler at New Paris, and then it's Labor Day weekend where we run Silver Crown cars at DuQuoin. The following day is Midgets at Sun Prairie. Berlin the following Saturday for the reveal of the Hammer of the series. And after that, you're asking me way too much because I have to look at my calendar and Google Sheets to even know.
You're just rolling, no notes.
I was saying, most people look at the calendar and they see January, February, March, April. I look at it as, okay, May is the 500. June is NASCAR at Michigan. July is Brickyard at Sprint Week. August is Fair Crown season. September is, oh God, we're stuck inside soon.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, last question, and I know this is borrowed, but I've always I've tagged you in several posts on social media talking about this, and I again give credit to where it comes from because I can't ever remember. I know there's a whole book, but you are kind of the one that started me in on tallying my races as either attended, raced, or worked. So I want you to put this on public record now. How is it that we get to officially tally a race, and why did you start doing that?
So some people view it as a vanity project. And I immediately say, no, it's not. Personally, I treat my social media as a modern day diary because it's what it is. So it's fun to, even now, go back in memories and see where you were on that day and how many you did one season, mainly because at the time, in 2017, I still wanted to reach the goal of hitting 100 races in a year. So I do it as a tally of just how many I do each season and taking a look at the places that I've gotten to go. Plus, also, if I'm adding it to my spreadsheet, I have to make sure that, because I'm quasi-OCD and I hate being wrong, I have to make sure that the actual tallies of tracks and race days are correct. Those of you that know me can completely start nodding your head and go, yep, he's that bad. I'm the first one to do that because Koty can vouch for this, and I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. I am a spreadsheets nerd through and through. I love me some spreadsheets. I love categorizing. It's why I'm doing well at what I'm doing now for a living, but that's honestly why, is I just like keeping the documentation record of it.
Okay, and how do we get an official event on the spreadsheet?
Oh, I'm glad you were going to say this. So,
yep.
The rule for this comes from Alan Brown, who used to publish the National Speedway Directory. For those of you that have been around a while, you know that was considered largely the racetrack Bible. The way that it gets counted for it to be an actual race day, you have to see the green flag to a feature event. Practice days are not race days. Once again, practice days are not race days. Race days have to see at least one green flag event to it.
The local rainout policy does not apply.
And I also will say this, just because we're on this and I feel like I need to get it off my chest. There is no such thing as first annual.
No, yes.
It is inaugural.
Yes, and we could also, so things that we didn't talk about in this show that we could have, canceled, postponed, suspended, Michael McIntyre's gambling addiction, and his marriages. 3 things we didn't talk about in this show.
We have a way longer show than that if we're going to go down those things, guys.
Michael, I appreciate you making time to be on the program tonight. Always a pleasure to see you at the track, and glad we could do this. Thank you.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Much appreciated.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, Katie Robinson helps us close out the show. This is Horsepower Happenings.
Think your camper handled the winter just fine? Think again. Every time the temperature fluctuates, trap moisture freezes and expands, turning tiny hairline cracks into major pathways for water. That freeze-thaw cycle is a silent killer for RV seals. If you haven't had a professional roof and exterior sealant inspection this spring, you're likely towing a leak you can't see yet. Midwest Camper Repair specializes in catching that winter damage before it reaches your interior. We're mobile and we check it all from the roof to the floor. Don't let a winter crack ruin your summer fun. Call Midwest Camper Repair today and start the season sealed tight. Call 419-799-1171. That's 419-799-1171. Or visit MidwestCamperRepair.com. Serving the tri-state area from the roof to the floor, Midwest Camper Repair has you covered.
Saturday, August 8th, it's the North-South Shootout, a late model sportsman special event at Owasso Speedway. The Alderman's Late Model Sportsman's battle challengers from all over in a special format showdown with Meyer Electric Pure Stocks and Michigan paving trucks also on the card. Fans can catch qualifying events and take part in the special feature position starting draw with owner Rex Wheeler. Front gate opens at 4 p.m. Racing starts at 6 p.m. This Saturday, August 8th, 2026 at Owasso Speedway.
KG Media is your home for all things photography, race day social media, and more. Koty Geyer brings more than a decade of experience working with the top brands in short track racing. From individual photos to full race days, social media to PR, KG Media can make your race team, race track, or touring series stand out. For more information, go to marknews.org or visit KG Media on Facebook.
One of the biggest question marks for your event is, what are we going to do for food? Heavenly Smoked Barbecue is your answer. Serving Michigan and Northern Indiana, Heavenly Smoked Barbecue brings the best from the grill to your plate with pulled pork, pork belly, chicken, mac and cheese, baked beans, and more. Graduation open house, birthday parties, weddings, festivals. If it needs food, Heavenly Smoked Barbecue will offer options that will have them saying, that smells heavenly. Call 269-908-3948 or find Heavenly Smoked Barbecue on Facebook.
Welcome back to Horsepower Happenings. And, our next guest, we had her sister on a few weeks ago, and when she got her first win at Mount Pleasant. And now we're going to bring her sister on because it seems like every week she's in victory lane wherever we find her racing. Katie Robinson, welcome into Horsepower Happenings.
Hello.
All right, so let's talk about you. Let's start at the beginning. We talked to Danielle. Kind of tell us how was it through your dad how you decided you wanted to get involved in racing?
I kind of don't really remember. I was really young when we got into racing. I was 5 or 6. We were racing flat carts, and Dad was already racing, so it probably was Dad because he's been racing for so long. So what kind of attracted you to the driver's seat to begin with? Vesterberg in flat carts. Vesterberg, Owasso, all dirt. So yeah, it would be Owasso, Vesterberg. I think that's it. I think we raced up in Holton Lake a couple times. I'm not 100% sure on that. It was so long ago. And what was your progression up to pro stocks now where you're racing at? Flat carts, I think for 2 years, maybe 3. I raced 4 cylinders. Actually, no, I went to a mini wedge for 1 year. I won the track champion at Mount Pleasant, almost merit. And then I went to 4 cylinders for 4 years, maybe. I think it was 4. And then I raced street stocks for 4 years, I believe, 4 or 5 years. And then I switched halfway through the season last year to go to a pro stock.
You've been racing against your sister, I imagine, pretty much your whole career. We talked to Danielle, as Rich said, a couple of weeks ago, and she spoke on how much fun it's been to, not only be a sister and kind of a mentor to you, but also for you guys to compete on the racetrack. And I was kind of excited to hear your take on that. What's it been like, not necessarily following in her footsteps, but having her be around to kind of help you through these things and maybe to lean on throughout your career?
So in 4 cylinders, it was not. We raced 1 year together. I was not arguing back and forth.
It was not good. It was not good.
No.
Okay, pause. Let's dive into this a little bit because we did not hear this from Danielle, did we, Rich? I mean, she kind of glazed over everything that all was well. Four-cylinder year was tough, huh?
Yep, it was my first year in the four-cylinder, and I think it was her last year in it. And when I would beat her, I would be like, "Oh my God, I beat you," and blah blah blah, and all that stuff. And we
And
just
what? She didn't take well to that?
no, she got really mad because I would just rub it in her face. And then now, since we're older, it's been perfectly fine. So
I'm not done with this. So would this be a week-long ribbing that you would give her, or was this just at the
probably,
racetrack? Yeah, probably.
probably.
Now, do you regret being that way as the little sister, or do you look back on it and laugh at it now?
I mean, I think it's funny just looking back at it. So
I think it's funny thinking about it right now. Okay, so move forward. She told us that you actually are racing one of her old chassis this year, and obviously you've had success with it. 5 wins so far this year. How has that been? You know, were you able to take some of her notes that she had on that to hit the ground running, or how big of a change was it for you to get behind the wheel of this new to you race car?
honestly, the first night I went out, um, I actually drew like a 5, and I started first, and I'm like, we're gonna see what happens. And I knew I had some experience in it, like 4 years of experience in a big car, but not the way a pro stock moves. I was just in a street stock that just stayed still, never moved. Um, got into a pro stock in the heat race. I ended up finishing like third or fourth or something like that. And then the next week I was like, oh, this is easy.
Easy.
Must be a nice feeling.
Yeah. Yep. So
tell me, I mean, it's my job to go through the results every week, and I can't put you in every week because we'd be mentioning your name a lot of weeks here in 2026. How good's it feel to beat up on the boys?
good. I'm happy to beat Nate Murphy, that's for sure.
Friend of the program, talked to him a few weeks ago.
Yep.
How has this been for you? I mean, you know, you kind of talked about it a little bit. 5-win season, which actually is pretty neat. If you go back to the end of last year, you know, you kind of end the pro stock season as a winner at Merritt Speedway. Technically, back to back, I guess, because then you open the season at Tri-City as a winner. Pair of second places finish, or you know, come with that. Back to victory lane, back it up with a second place finish. If it wasn't a DNF, your worst finish this year is 9th. So, what a season that you've had, plus 5 wins. Have you guys clicked on something, or what is going right for you in that 15 car?
I mean, it's kind of all Dad right now. Just he knows more to the car, and I'm still learning a little bit more on it every week, trying to learn. I do my own changes, and he kind of tells me what to do, and I'll do it. Still trying to learn on what stuff does and what to do and not do too much. And like that 9th place finish, my dad was actually helping my sister figure out her car, and he had no time to really help me, so I put too much changes in and fell back. So
wheeled her all the way back to 9th. How do you handle that? You know, obviously, I think you understand probably the challenges of having 2 cars to deal with, right? And so Dad's helping Danielle. You're kind of on your own learning moment. Was that a frustrating night? I mean, how did you handle that?
yeah, it was frustrating because I'm always up in like the top 5, top 3 area, and I'm like, shoot, I did really bad.
I'm sure that's what you said.
Yeah.
I was trying to get the results here and see, and to make matters worse, Danielle went from 7 to 4 that night. Was that a discussion in the pits afterward?
No, I'm just happy that she's really getting her car figured out, and whoever beats who, it doesn't really matter as long as somebody takes it home.
I like that. Go ahead, Rich.
No, I was just going to ask with the season you've had, Katie. I mean, it has to be doing a lot for your confidence inside the helmet, you know?
Yeah, it's little Um, Everything's just going through right now because I have school. I'm doing summer classes right now. I'm almost graduated, so with college, I play softball over the summer for college, and I work full time. Very hard.
Got a lot
So,
going on.
yeah.
Got a lot
Yep.
going on. I want to take a quick second here to say thank you to our interview sponsor tonight. I want to give a shout out to Independence Heating and Cooling, Southern Michigan's Bryant dealer. As we roll into August, the mind starts to change a little bit. And if you're like my wife, you can't wait for fall and the opportunity to have some windows open, maybe kick on the furnace once in a while. Make sure that your HVAC system is ready to go. Like we're going to talk with Katie about all the work that you put in throughout the week on your race car. You have to do the same thing with your house and that HVAC system. Be sure to get with Independence Heating and Cooling and get in on their comfort plan for less than $13 a month. They will come and just make sure that everything's running smoothly and everything's ready to go. And if you should have a catastrophic failure or need some service, you'll get discounted rates on those as well by being a comfort plan member with Independence Heating and Cooling, Southern Michigan's Bryant dealer. Check them out online at ihcpros.com. The letters IHC, the word pros.com, and find out more about Independence Heating and Cooling. So I wanted to talk about this, Katie. How much work are you doing on your race car? We extended an invitation to you to be on the show maybe 2 months ago now. I don't really know. And you said, nope, can't. Got to wash the race car. We got stuff to do tonight. So how hands-on are you with that car throughout the week?
I mean, Monday and Tuesday, I'm usually doing schoolwork, so my really only day to do it is Wednesday because we load Thursday, and we really, if anything's not broke, we just check it over, and then oil changes and all that stuff. So fill up gas cans. But
yeah, are you doing the nut and bolt checks and the oil changes? Like, or like, what are some of your duties on Wednesday?
I usually do my own oil changes. I usually do most of my stuff on my car unless my dad just randomly goes out there without telling me and just works on it. But he doesn't. He always does that. But so
That's a good dad.
Yep. He is really great. He makes this opportunity make this opportunity happen. It's just, oh my God, I don't even know what to say.
I
But
got to ask you, Zach and I used to hang out at dirt tracks a lot together for several years. And then I'm back on the pavement side now. Zach still gets to spend time on the dirt. When you pull in the racetrack and you see, or you get close to feature time, you like it if it looks a little bit heavy and maybe a little sticky, or you like if it slicks off and it puts it all in the driver's hands? What do you like the most?
oh, hammer down 100%. But the slick, you have to actually know how to drive on it. You can just drive on a hammer down track like wide open, but the slick track, you gotta take your time and slower. And I just learned how to recently drive on it. So, but it is a learning curve driving on slick tracks. That's how you know somebody can actually drive, and also on heavy tracks too. So.
How has the learning curve been from street stock to pro stock? And I know you've touched on it a little bit, but I want to dive deeper. Like, what are some of the differences that you've struggled with, maybe like from that car to this car as the season's gone on? What are things, whether it's drivability or making changes to the car, that have really kind of stuck out to you as like, wow, this would have worked on the street stock, but I can't get it to work here?
Well, I know that you can move a lot more stuff in the pro stock than the street stock. And at Tri-City and Merritt, you can't drop trailing arms, so that was a little different for me. But driving on slick tracks, I feel like me being in the pro stock and actually being up front, I just feel like I've just learned so much from the pro stock than the street stock. It's just like street stocks, people crash and bang into each other because people are crazy.
Good word
So,
choice. Good word
yeah.
choice.
Yeah.
So with the pro stock, though, you find that guys and gals, I know there are, obviously your sister, and then, I know there's some others out there too. But anyhow, these drivers that you're racing against in the pro stocks, you find that they're more maybe calculated? They're actually really trying to figure out their racecraft.
Some people, I think some people.
Fair enough. Fair enough. You talked about this battle with Nate Murphy, and actually there's comments in the Facebook chat as well. Nathan chiming in here, Nathan Gray, saying Katie and Nate Murphy have been having some good battles, really fun to watch. What's it been like for you behind the wheel? Has it been fun to have some people to compete with on a regular basis that you kind of know what you're going to get and are challenging you on the racetrack?
Yeah, me and Nate, we've known each other for so long. He's known me probably since I was born. But it's always fun to race against him. He's probably one of the best competition in the pro stocks. It's good to have somebody up there, but yeah.
So I'm going to go back to our chat as well so we can get these people in before we let you go. Ryan says, do you prefer Tri-City or Merritt? I probably know the answer to this, but go ahead.
I would say Tri-City because, I mean, Merritt's track hasn't been the greatest because there's just been a whole bunch of holes and all that stuff. But I feel like Merritt holds a little bit more moisture in the track. I would say it doesn't slick off like Tri-City does. I feel like Tri-City gets iced over really, really bad. And I don't like driving on that. So I really prefer Tri-City a little bit more just because there's not really a lot of holes and all that stuff. So
going back to the chat, my dad jumping in here and solid question. I think we talked to Danielle about this a little bit too a couple of weeks ago. With the setup that you're using on that car, are you kind of baselining it off what Danielle did with it last year? Or do you have your own setups that you're working with now? Or do you go back to her notes?
I mean, I kind of go off of Dad, but he probably did the same exact, I mean, not the same exact setup, but around the same when she raced it because it's always good when it has a wheelie, and then Mom always yells at me to get it back down. So, but it's always been fast with a wheelie.
That's so funny because I think, and my dad will correct me, but I think it was Frank Lett that told us when we were racing, they put 4 tires on that car for a reason, keep them all on the ground. So I don't know, maybe there's something to that. Maybe there's not. Other things here in the chat, Ryan Fritz jumping in, obviously announcer at Merritt Speedway, saying, hey, Katie, who's your favorite Victory Lane interviewer and why is it Ryan Fritz and not Shut Up Roger? Putting you on the spot, Katie.
I mean, I like both of them, but I've known Roger, and he's always he actually got me my what was it?
Oh, you got an award at the fan club banquet, right?
Yep. Yeah. The award at the
Rich,
fan
help
club.
her out. What was that? Yeah.
Was that a young?
It was like best youth driver award or something like that.
Youth Motorsports Award. Yes.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That was a cool recognition. I think that was one of the years, Rich, that you and I were doing the presenting. I think we were doing the presenting.
Absolutely.
There. Yeah. I got one.
And then I want to slide this in. I want to slide this in quick, Zach. Christopher, I don't know if it works this way, but he says you girls need to get your dad into a pro stock.
So Danielle actually hurt her knee when he drove that, and Danielle's like, just drive it, figure it out. And I beat that same night at Merritt, I beat him in the heat race, and then he got the pill draw, I got a pill draw. He drew the 1, I drew the 3, and he's like, I don't know what I got, so if you get right next to me, I'll let you go by. And I'm like, all right. Then all of a sudden he just freaking pulls right off. He pulls away from everybody. So, and he won that night.
All right, so 5 wins this season. Kind of the same question we talked to Kyle about earlier this year. Earlier this show, rather. You're in the points right now at Tri-City, battling with Nate Murphy. Do you care about that? Are you paying attention to that at all, or are you just showing up to the racetrack and racing?
Yeah, I do care about it. Him breaking last weekend really helped a lot. But I also have two DNFs at Tri-City, and that kind of put me down a little bit. Um, but I am like 14,
Yep,
15 points behind him or
14.
something like that.
You got it, 14.
And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it because he's first in points at Tri-City and Merritt. And I'm second in
I was
points
gonna
at
say
Tri-City and Merritt. So
17 points back at Merritt too. So you two are you're kind of walking the field right now. And so it goes back to that question about how much fun it is to race with him, but probably frustrating too. So what do you need to track Nate down? You got the break that you were looking for, pun intended. So now what can you do here? August, as Roger pointed out on his Facebook page, August is the push toward the championships here. So what do you need to do over these next 4 weeks?
just beat him. Just beat him. Because I know he's worried about me on the track because I think I'm the only person that really beat him this year. I mean, we're both worried about each other. So, I think just don't break anything.
Does it change what you're going to do on the racetrack, or are you still going to just go after wins?
I'm still going to go after wins and then make sure I beat him every weekend, but
Well,
it'll be
if you're
tough.
winning, that means you've done that.
Yeah. It'll be tough though.
Do you have any track championships in any of your other divisions?
My mini wedge.
Oh, that's right. You did say that. So this would be your first, if you can pull this off, it would be your first big car championship.
Yep.
So, Katie, I got to ask you.
I was going to follow that up, Rich. If there's a level of excitement with that possibility, or you got to get the job done first before you can kind of get excited about it.
I mean, it has to be like 1 to 5 points towards the end of the year, and then I'll be like, yeah, I gotta beat him. So.
Well, I got to ask you, Katie. I want to give you a chance before we let you go. I think that 15 car is sharp. I want you to give you a chance to give a shout out to all the names on that race car that are helping you out here in 2026.
So I actually wrote it all down on paper so I don't forget. I want to thank Blackheart's Painting and Extreme Chassis and Performance Parts, which is my dad, Tommy Bauer Excavating, Central Michigan Logging, Stanton Motorsports, Reed's Great Outdoors, Spangler Heating and Cooling, Sugar Springs Marine, Galgosi Oil, and my mom for selling our shirts on the other side, my sister, and my boyfriend.
Just so you know, Ryan Kittle has been in this chat since we went live, jacked up to see your interview. And shout out to Ryan for actually giving a pretty, how do I say this? Straightforward question, normal question. I've seen his content. I was surprised by his question in our chat today. So shout out to Ryan for that. You have a comment, I can tell. You have a thought.
I mean, I met him. Actually, I think me and his mom actually set up something for his birthday a long time ago, and he wanted to meet me so bad. And I gave him one of my door panels off of my street stock. He wanted a door panel, so I gave him one for his birthday. Then we went out to dinner. And he was actually surprised that his mom drove all the way from Muskegon to my house to come and have dinner. He's a nice person. He really is.
Is Ryan Kittle the leader of the Katie Robinson fan club?
Maybe.
Perfect. Katie, I appreciate you making time to be on the show. First timer as well. So you did a great job. Thank you for that. And congratulations on 5 wins this year. Good luck down the stretch, man. This is going to be fun to watch here as you battle it out with Nate.
Thank you. I'm excited to actually be close in points and actually try and get a championship. So
would you be happy with one, or are you at the point now with they're so close? Do you want both of? I mean, obviously you want both of them, but would you be okay with one or the other? And is there a track that you would, whether Tri-City or Merritt, one of those championships that you want more than the other?
I mean, I would love to have both, but if I get one, I would be really happy because it's been so long since I've had a track champion. Um, I actually couldn't, I mean, when I was in my four-cylinder, my last year in my four-cylinder, I had like 13 or 14 feature wins, and I didn't make it to all the uh, the nights because I had travel softball, and then I decided to quit that so I could race because I knew I was going to go somewhere for softball. So.
Yeah. Cool. Well, good luck, Katie, man. Looking forward to it. And like I told Kyle earlier in the show, maybe we'll talk to you this winter as a champion.
Yep, that'll definitely be back.
Cool. All right, we'll take a quick break. Rich and I wrap this show up. Coming up straight ahead, this is the Horsepower Happenings podcast.
Saturday, August 8th, it's the North-South Shootout, a late model sportsman special event at Owasso Speedway. The Alderman's Late Model Sportsman's battle challengers from all over in a special format showdown with Meyer Electric Pure Stocks and Michigan paving trucks also on the card. Fans can catch qualifying events and take part in the special feature position starting draw with owner Rex Wheeler. Front gate opens at 4 p.m. Racing starts at 6 p.m. This Saturday, August 8th, 2026 at Owasso Speedway.
The Horsepower Happenings podcast is Michigan's short track racing authority. For nearly a decade, Horsepower Happenings has given race fans a chance to hear directly from their favorite drivers, local track owners, and promoters. Horsepower Happenings is the only podcast keeping fans engaged with Michigan area racing for 52 weeks a year. Don't miss the Horsepower Happenings podcast live on Facebook every Monday night at 6:30 and available everywhere you enjoy podcasts. Visit horsepowerhappenings.com and follow on Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube.
Welcome back to the Horsepower Happenings podcast. I have no idea if it's me. It's both of us. Okay, good. I had my preview screen closed. So let's take a look at the upcoming calendar of events, Rich. It's a big weekend of racing in and around the state of Michigan. We're going to fly through this so that producer Noah doesn't quit on the spot. I mean, we pay him, but still. Got some things to do tonight. So, I-96 Speedway Duel on Dirt Friday night, $5,000 to win American Late Model Ironman Series, plus the Great Lakes Super Sprints are in action. The Duel on Dirt returns to I-96 Speedway. Pits open at 4. General admission gates at 5. Racing slated to begin around 8 o'clock on Friday night. Then move to Saturday, Rich. Crystal Motor Speedway, IMC Modifieds, Pro Stocks, Bombers, Mini Wedges, and American Big Rig Racing Saturday night at Crystal Motor Speedway. Can you believe it? The big rigs are going to be up at Crystal, so that'll be a good show on Saturday night. Be sure to get there. Pits at 2, gates at 4, racing at 7 o'clock, Rich.
Owasso Speedway, the North-South Late Model Sportsman Shootout. Gates open at 4, racing at 6 p.m. at Owasso. And then on Sunday, Zach, if Friday and Saturday aren't enough for you, Toledo Speedway, the Turn 1 CRA Pro Series, House of Meats 100. It's also Michigan Auto Racing Fan Club night. Also, the 350 Outlaws Super Modifieds, Late Model Sportsman, and Factory Stocks will also be in action. Gates open at 10:15 a.m. Qualifying starts at noon. The autograph session for the Turn 1 CRA Pro Series at 1:45, and then the House of Meats 100, Zach, rolls off at 3 p.m. in the afternoon on Sunday at Toledo.
Plenty of things going on this weekend, and as we've mentioned throughout the show, we're getting down to it. I mean, August is the push. September's special season, October's big race season, and then November, we're gearing up for the Michigan Motorsports Hall of Fame banquet. We're gearing up for November 14th. More details coming out on that very soon. Clear your calendar. Saturday, November 14th. You're going to want to be up in Clio. And then banquets and, man, then new schedules are going to be coming out. I mean, it's just going to happen quick, Rich. So enjoy the races this weekend while you can. I want to say thank you to Kyle, Michael, Koty, Katie for being on the program tonight. Thanks to our producer, Noah Longyear, Rich France, co-host. I'm Zach Heiser. Thanking you all so much for tuning in. We'll talk to you same time, same place next week right here on Horsepower Happenings.
You've been listening to Horsepower Happenings. The views and opinions expressed in tonight's show may not directly reflect that of Horsepower Happenings. The contents of this program may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or disseminated without the express written consent of Horsepower Happenings. Follow Horsepower Happenings on Facebook, Instagram, X, and all major podcast platforms, including Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, and Pandora, to keep up on what's happening.